Hello and welcome to episode 134 of the Pixel Street podcast, where me and Connor right now are completely off the rails. We decided to try and push this live to both my Twitch channel and our YouTube channel. So if you're watching it on either of those, hello, welcome. Um, I don't know. This is bizarre.
It's new for us. We're breaking new ground right now. We are putting ourselves out there in a way that we haven't been before, and it's exciting and terrifying. Really, I mean, we don't know what we're doing. This
It's
shit's
very
scary.
possible that nobody can hear us right now, and we're just
Oh, for
talking
sure.
into a void.
Yeah, we're like clown voices or something. Um, yeah, completely possible. Could be uploading
But
on Pornhub for all I know.
but
I
hey,
guess
we're doing the damn thing. Connor, if you
we
want
are.
to, while I'm going through the intro spiel, message John and tell him to check this out, and just so he can give us feedback. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, this is episode 134. This week we are going to be talking about some Switch Pro rumors, along with the 4-year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch, and kind of we're just going to look back on some memories from that. Um, Also, we're going to be talking about why Square Enix hates you. Why they hate me. Why do they hate Connor? They hate everybody, I guess.
They do. They looked at their demographic and said, "What if we just don't?" And that's what they're doing. They just,
That's a fair statement. And that's pretty sad. But yeah, before we get to that, let's get some housekeeping out of the way. First, you can follow us on Twitter at Pixel Street over on Twitter, or Facebook by searching for Pixel Street Podcast there. We're not as active on Facebook anymore, but
it's the boomer site. Like nobody wants to
yeah,
be there. I
exactly.
don't want to spend any time on Facebook. Like, I don't even go on my own Facebook, much less I don't want to spend time on a completely other Facebook account doing Facebook things. Who does that?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with you there. Also, our show goes live every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on your podcast platform of choice, whether that be YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud. I really need to double check everywhere we are because
Yeah.
I'm
It's
pretty
hard to
sure
keep track of.
we're just about everywhere. But if you are listening to this and we're not somewhere you want us to be, let me know. I will
Yeah.
make that happen. But yeah, and you can join our Discord server by going to our Twitter, seeing the pinned tweet. You can join our Discord and take part in our Pale Party Nights. This past Saturday, we played Jackbox Party Pack. We played like 3 or 4 different Jackbox games. So yeah, join us there to see when and where we will be playing next game. And if you want to recommend games for us to play, by all means, we're open to pretty much
Yeah.
anything. We've been trying to do stuff that we know other people have and are willing to play, just so that we can be more inclusive. But I mean, hell, me and Connor aren't opposed to playing Destiny 2 for 8 hours one night.
Oh, man, if somebody was like, "Hey, what if we have a community raid night?" You would probably
Yep.
become my best friend
Yep.
instantly. Like we would just be hanging out all the time. Any excuse I can get to raid, I'm in, 100%.
I mean,
So,
don't give Kenny any ideas either, because he is just recently started raiding.
oh,
And he wants
sure,
to do the raids. It's just that, like, the main people we play with don't really raid. But like
man.
some of my other friends have been raiding, and I've been joining them, and then Kenny joined us for one of them. Yeah, I think he only did one with us, but either way, he likes the idea of it. So I mean, who knows, man? That's 3 people. That's half a raid group, or
That's half of a raid
or
team.
as we'll talk about in a little bit, that's a quarter of a raid group if you're glitching the game right now, because
That's
you can
very
have 12
accurate.
people in a raid right now. Um, Man, this has really gone off the rails. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. Be sure to
We're
leave us a like and rating so we know how we're doing, good or bad. What are you
we
gonna say?
prepared very hard for today.
We did.
Yeah. I like the chill atmosphere, though. I would love to get some more people in on the conversation. So, if you have interesting comments or things to say, we want to hear them. Talk to us on Twitter. Talk to us on Discord. My Discord notifications are constantly going off, and
For
I
real.
look at them sometimes.
I post pictures and videos of my dog like bi-monthly, so
But that's more than once a month.
that is more than once a month. Sometimes I don't post them at all, so you
It's
get
fair.
what you get.
It's fair.
Anyway, let's get into some of the news.
Let's
First
talk
and
about it.
foremost, what is Nintendo doing this year, Connor?
Man, I don't know. I wish John was here for this because I know he's been feeling just as much frustration as I have. And yeah, Nintendo anymore. I was just talking to my wife about this. New Nintendo is strange in the fact that they're just old Nintendo dressed up in a different outfit. Like it's still the same weird Nintendo that's always existed that does weird things for weird reasons that don't really make a lot of sense, but everybody's just like, yeah, that's Nintendo, and they get away with it. It's just more. I guess the information's a little more accessible in modern era. Um, yeah, they didn't talk about the 35th anniversary of Zelda at all,
Like
and
they
then they
didn't
come
even
out.
acknowledge it.
Right, like there wasn't even a Twitter post or a Facebook post for the boomers out there, and they didn't speak about it. It's a really weird thing, and I hope this is what John thinks at least. Last time I spoke with him, I hope that they're planning for something bigger later in the year, some kind of additional event, or perhaps it was COVID related that got delayed. But I hope that there's more in store for Zelda this year than just the faintest whisper of Breath of the Wild 2 on the horizon. So
I mean, there is
yeah,
Skyward Sword, right?
yeah. Does that really count though?
Yeah, I just want to say if they come out and announce that like Wind Waker HD is also coming to Switch or something, and it's not, and that's
Then we'd be
another.
talking.
No, but and it's still another $60 game. That's
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah.
Considering the
I
Mario
would pay
3D All Stars thing.
$60 for Wind Waker much quicker than I would spend $60 for Skyward Sword. I'll say that first
I
and
mean,
foremost.
look, like we know, I'm kind of the one person on this podcast who's very anti Legend of Zelda. At least Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild for sure. But like, I've been trying to get back into the series. I've
Hmm.
been playing a little more Ocarina of Time, but yeah, I don't know. The general consensus that I've been reading online is that Skyward Sword is like worst possible game they could have ported over to the Switch.
So I hate motion controls. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I fucking hate motion controls. I think that they're just gimmicky, and if you default to motion controls in a base game, like that is your only control scheme, I'm probably going to have a bad time and I'm going to hate it. That's not to say that there aren't games that have done cool things within motion controls. I think Wii Sports is one of the most incredible video games of all time, and it was fucking packed in
100%.
software. And that was all motion control gimmicks. And for something like that, I'm in. Beat Saber, like I think that game's incredible. It's so cool. Um, that said, if you're gonna reinvent something that's classically on controller and very very good, and you're gonna tell me that it's a mainline entry in the series, it better be a damn good mainline entry into the series. And from what I had hands on with Skyward Sword, it wasn't that, which really pissed me off. So I'm interested to see uh, just how far they went with the whole button. God, what do you want to call it? The addition of button controls into Skyward Sword, and whether or not it does the game justice. They did do some cool stuff in there. I will give it to them. I can't just shit on it entirely and say that it was a terrible game, but man, I just don't want that. Give me a better Zelda. Give me, even if it was just like a, hey, it's Zelda's 35th anniversary. We're going to do a thing, but we can't talk about it right now. That would be better than nothing. Because even with the Skyward Sword announcement, they didn't say anything about the anniversary, did they?
No. All they said is, "Hey, Skyward Sword is coming to the Switch."
Yeah.
They
It
didn't
wasn't
say
like, oh,
anything about
because
it
of the
being.
anniversary. Yeah, so weird. Did you watch that Post Malone concert
I did
for
not, but
Pokemon?
I read online. I don't. This could have just been a troll commenting on a Twitch stream I was watching, that they forgot to bleep out a swear word in one of the songs or something. But I don't know. That could have
Oh,
been a troll. I didn't
that
watch
would
it at all.
be fantastic if that happened. Yeah, I that marriage specifically really made me wonder what the hell is going on at Nintendo. Like
Yeah.
you get the guy who, for all intents and purposes, is that guy, and then you can't let that guy be that guy. You know,
Yep.
it's just strange, and I don't get it. Um, fun little tidbit for you if you're unfamiliar. I my bread and butter for the longest time in the gaming industry was G4 TV. I just anything G4 related, I was consuming 24/7 as much as possible between X Play, Attack of the Show, even back to Arena and trailers. Like G4 was totally my shit. So Kevin Pereira is a name that I am very familiar with. Fun fact: Nintendo actually, for the past however long, has always kept Kevin Pereira on retainer for the GameStop Managers Conference, and he's there at the GameStop Managers Conferences up until the past couple of years or so. And he does a whole presentation for Nintendo about their games and everything for the managers. But it's Kevin Pereira. He is incredibly raunchy. For instance, the last time I was there and saw, I don't work for the company anymore, and I'm probably uh, God knows I signed an NDA or something on this, but
They're coming.
yeah, absolutely. The running joke was that Guigi is just Luigi's cum. And so you had like 30 minutes of Kevin Pereira making jokes about Luigi coming and whatnot
And
on
Nintendo paid him
stage
to do it.
for Nintendo. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And that's,
So weird.
Nintendo's in a strange place, both behind the scenes and publicly. And man, I don't think it ends anytime soon. Also, they're
hold on. I do
murdering
want to say,
Mario.
I want Nintendo. You need anybody to stand on stage for a half hour, talk about any of your characters. Come, I'm your guy. I'm your guy.
He's your cum guy. He's the cum man. Yeah. Joel Campos, cum guy, PhD.
Big cum
Uh,
guy over here.
you're right. I'm gonna make you a T-shirt, bud. Yeah. So anyway, they're also murdering Mario at the end of this month. If
Yeah,
anybody forgot.
what the hell is that about?
Yeah. Supposedly it's still happening up to this point. I kind of thought that Nintendo would
Come
walk some of
out.
that back.
That's what I thought.
Oh yeah, you're the cum guy. I get it. Come out. But I figured they would walk back a little bit and maybe not have such an aggressive stance with these limited time offerings in what is it, Mario All Stars and what's the battle royale?
Super Mario 35, I think.
35, yeah, which is their battle royale offering. Both are supposed to be deleted from existence as far as being able to purchase or download them at the end of this month.
I mean, technically, yeah, digitally, you're not going to be able to buy Mario 3D All Stars, but I'm sure stores will have it for months and months.
Copies are going to be floating for a while, and with places like GameStop, Best Buy's trade-in policy, so on and so forth, they're going to be out there, which is what makes this such a weird decision for me. Really, all they're going to do is artificially inflate the secondary market on these. So if you're buying a used copy of it, you're going to spend $80-$90 for a Switch copy of Mario 3D All-Stars, and Nintendo's not going to get anything for it. They're going to make absolutely no money from that $70, $80 copy of Mario All-Stars that you're going to buy, and all of that money is going to go secondhand to whatever business you bought it from. You would think that the smarter play is, hey, we've got a product that's going to sell gangbusters for God knows how long. Why limit the print on that? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It didn't when they announced it. It doesn't make sense now. And I hate to say it that Mario, your time is up. Nintendo is knocking on your door.
But my initial thought on that when they announced, this stuff was going away in March, my initial thought was that, okay, they're gonna announce like GameCube Virtual Console or N64 Virtual Console, and then they were gonna say you could buy these games separately on the Switch. Sure. But I mean, there's no indication that anything like that's happening.
You know what? Actually, you bring up a great point there too, by bringing up the possibility of them kind of splitting out that selection. There was something else that they did that with, where they sold like a bundle, and then the bundle died. I might be thinking of another company, but after the bundle was killed off, they just sold the title separately. So even then, I would maybe understand this decision more if now you had to pay $40 to get your copy of
Yeah.
Sunshine on the Switch as opposed to buying it in the collection for $60. Um,
I
yeah,
don't know,
it
super
just
weird.
it's strange.
But the other weird thing as well is that Super Mario 35 is going away forever. When that's like pretty popular game. Like it's
Yeah,
pretty popular. Like I see people streaming on Twitch every day.
and there's not going to be any other way to get this title in the future. I mean, it's not going to be something that you can purchase again in the future or buy a physical copy of. It's just going to die, and that's really shitty, both from a conservation aspect, because I think there's been a conservation problem in video games for a long time. We're losing a lot of that media that is just inaccessible. For instance, Mass Effect. They've got that legendary collection hitting here soon, and one of the DLCs that was made for the game, the source code has been lost at this point, and barring them rebuilding all of that from the ground up, it's just gone. And I think that's a really shitty thing to really um, take something that is digital history at this point and make it entirely inaccessible. And with copyright law and Disney being Disney, that this kind of stuff is just going to continue. And Nintendo's also incredibly strict about their IP and copyright protection too. So if there's any kind of like a legal version of this, or somebody makes a Flash player version of the Mario Battle Royale, that shit's getting taken down ASAP.
Oh
It
yeah.
will not be up for any significant amount of time. So, um, yeah, strange choices. But then again, it's Nintendo being Nintendo.
True.
So,
Yeah, I don't know. It's all so weird to me. I I don't think anybody will ever understand Nintendo, including Nintendo. I don't think they
right.
understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to some actual news, I guess.
Yeah.
This first article comes to us from Game Informer. Hold on, I'm trying to. There we go. Brian Shea at Game Informer writes: Report: Nintendo announcing 4K capable Switch model with bigger screen this year. For years, we've been getting reports of a Nintendo Switch Pro model that would add extra power and other features meant to appeal to core gamers. While reports of a new Switch model in 2019 ended up pointing toward the handheld only Switch Lite, the rumors have continued to swirl regarding a potential more powerful Switch console. As recently as last August, reports continued surfacing about a 4K capable Switch set to launch in 2021. Today, Bloomberg News reports more details on the heavily rumored model than we've ever seen before. The report states that the new model will feature a larger Samsung OLED touchscreen on the device for use in handheld and tabletop mode. The screen is said to be a 7-inch OLED panel capable of 720p resolution, with production to get underway as early as June and shipments set to go out to assemblers in July. The current Switch model features a 6.2-inch screen on the base model and a 5.5-inch screen on the Switch Lite. If you want to read the whole article, you can go check it out on Game Informer. But man, there there are some renderings online. Let me see if I can find these.
Yeah,
I think
I know
IGN
which ones you're
posted
talking
some.
about.
But yeah, that like it doesn't sound like a lot, like a half-inch larger screen. But you have to imagine if they're making a Switch Pro, you're gonna be using the same Joy-Con, right? At least I would assume
Yeah,
so. They're not gonna
you would
deviate from
hope
that.
so. You know.
So, and this is really like the largest, I guess, screen they could probably do on this without messing up the aspect ratio
Yeah.
and stuff. I'm trying to find the picture I saw earlier. I can't find it, but man, oh here we go. I got it up here if you're watching on stream, but yeah, it just compares the Switch Lite 5.5-inch screen, the Nintendo Switch 6.2-inch screen, and the proposed, I guess, Switch Pro 7-inch screen, and man, it looks way larger.
Yeah, in it's I saw somebody talking about this earlier on Twitter, comparing the pixel density, because that's really the conversation you have to have with something like this,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to resolution. Everybody wants to talk about it being 720p and freak out and say, "Oh my God, 720p, it's too small, can't do it. It should be 1080p." Pixel density is a thing and it matters. And at this size, it is a very comparable, if not better, pixel density than what you would get on a Retina display with some of the current iPhones. So, if you have an iPhone, one of the newer ones, especially one of the bigger ones, that is a very similar experience to what you would be looking at with something like a Switch Pro. Full edge to edge display, with it being OLED as well, capable of better brightness profile, and just overall, better hardware offerings. And sure, I would love to see something more than 720p here, but man, looking at this rendering mock-up, I would buy one.
I mean, I'm pretty much
You know,
sold on it already. Like in OLED,
right?
OLED screen itself is a huge upgrade, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
when the PS Vita, I think the original PS Vita had an OLED screen, and then the redesign of it did not. People were searching for the older PS Vitas because they wanted the OLED display. And like to be fair,
Mhm.
for me, I probably wouldn't tell a difference. I have the newer Vita, and I used to have an older OLED one, and I couldn't tell you what the difference is in terms of how it looked.
Mhm.
But I mean, people are nerds about this shit, man. You know?
Yeah, regardless, I think this is something that we all kind of knew was coming. Obviously, it's been heavily rumored for a while now. And this is still not official confirmation, just to put it out there. This is still something that is a purported rumor. It is not something that anybody officially came out and said it's happening. So, for all intents and purposes, this is something that we may never see, but um, it's pretty likely at this point, and I think it's kind of necessary. I pulled out my Switch Lite the other day and played a little bit of Fire Emblem, and all I could think about was, man, I wish this looked better. B, I wish this ran better. And then also, I considered some of the footage that they've shown recently for what's the open world Pokemon game?
Arceus?
Arceus, yeah. It did not have a very
No,
good frame rate
it did
in
not.
its showing, and obviously you could chalk that up to pre-rendered footage or whatever, but it's clear that the Switch from day one has been an underpowered console. And a lot of people want to say that they don't care about performance, but performance is what gets video games to run on your system. And the Switch up to this point has been lacking in that area. So I think it makes sense. And man, I just if it's anything like this mock-up, I'm happy. I would be more than happy, really, to just pay money for a larger screen.
Definitely agreed, especially because like looking at the OG Switch, I didn't realize how much of that screen is just like black bezel. That's a
Just
lot of
border,
space.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's very, very lackluster, that's for sure. So, um, yeah, things that would come with this. Obviously, the larger screen is something we can talk about to death. The OLED screen being a large upgrade for it. Um, the 4K capability is referring to docked mode
Mm-hmm.
for this, which I think would be fantastic. It's my wife plays out in the living room, and we have a 65-inch 4K TV out there, and 1080p doesn't look good on a 65-inch television. So a 4K capable set would be awesome. Other things that I would love to see on this, should it be a thing, battery life, man. I would love to see a serious battery put into this. I would pay a premium to have something with better battery life than what we have. The Switch was relatively impressive for when it came out, but comparing to other tech devices that I use throughout the day, like my cell phone, my cell phone, God, I forgot to plug it in 2 days in a row, two nights in a row, and I still had juice running on the third day. I was very close to dead, but uh, I think there's a lot of room for movement there. Is there anything else that they've got to do with the Switch Pro uh, that makes
I don't
sense?
know. The one thing that worries me is that they start coming out with Switch Pro only games in a way that they did with the 3DS when they came out with the new 3DS.
Yeah,
Because like the Switch has a huge player like install base already.
yeah,
And so if they come out with the Switch Pro, I think it's safe to say that like 80% of people that own a Switch are not going to buy the Pro, at least for a
mm,
few years, right? And so it would just be worrying if that Pokemon Arceus game, which is slated to come out, in a year essentially, right? They said beginning to mid of 2022.
mm.
Um, if that became like a Switch Pro only game, I could see that being problematic.
Yeah. Well, especially when you start talking lifespan, the Switch has only been out for 4 years at this point. It just hit its 4 year anniversary, and when you take a look at the Switch Lite came out in 2019. So, you're talking about consoles that aren't old at all. We're not speaking about the Xbox One that was 7 years old. When the new
To be
systems
fair,
launched.
I think that, not to cut you off, I think this Pro model needs to be more akin to the PS4 to the PS4 Pro, or the
Yeah, yeah.
Xbox One to the Xbox
Well,
One
that's
X.
what I'm saying is, when you're so close to that launch date, man, if they screw over the people that have those original systems and the people that have the lights by making them incompatible with new games right off the bat, it is a massive disservice, and you are going to lose a lot of customer base over that move alone. And I really hope that personally what I'd like to see is a multi-phase approach similar to what Sony and Xbox already have in place for what they're doing. Support it for the next, make a promise and support it for the next year or so, and take care of people in the meantime. You will have to flip that switch eventually, but uh, you cannot flip that switch day one. It just cannot happen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, we're talking about something that's not even fucking announced yet. Like,
Of course,
this could be
yeah.
something 3 years down the road.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for anything Nintendo's gonna do, produce next. After the Switch, I'm pretty much all in, unless they come out with Wii U too.
Yeah.
Moving on, Connor, you want to take this next one?
Sure, I would love to. So this next
You would
one's
love
odd.
to.
Yes. I don't understand this, but here we go. So this one comes from Rich Stanton over at PC Gamer, and the article reads: Marvel's Avengers is making leveling grindier. It's no secret that Marvel's Avengers have been far from a big success that Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix may have hoped for. Designed with a full single player campaign and a multiplayer focused endgame intended to give it a long tail, Avengers was halfway decent but simply didn't have enough there to maintain players' interest. Personally, I found the endgame got very boring very quickly as part of the game's next major update. Um, oh, God. As part of the game's next major update, which sees Hawkeye arrive on March 18th, another problem with Marvel's Avengers, the DLC so far has focused on the most boring characters, but the game's leveling system and loot is being completely reworked, and it's being changed in a manner that suggests the future for this game, as has seemed inevitable for a while, may be free to play. Blog post innocently titled Upcoming Cosmetic and XP Rework has the task of explaining to current players who have paid for the game why things are about to get a lot more grindy. It begins by saying that the current leveling curve is not really a curve and players level at a steady rate, so brace yourself. Quote, this has led to pacing issues, such as skill points currently being rewarded too fast, which may be confusing and overwhelming to newer players. We want each decision to invest in a skill or heroic to be more meaningful. End quote. This does not align with my experience of the game at all, and I doubt many would agree with the above. In fact, Avengers, as it stood, already had something of a grind to it, whereby you earned basic skills for each character relatively quickly, but then had multiple subsidiary skill trees to sink extra points into and customize your play style. This change will increase the amount of XP needed to level up, starting from around level 25. So, yeah, a lot of gibberish here, a lot of nonsensical BS. But the long and short of it was that Square Enix decided to drop just a random blog post, and it um, detailed the fact that yeah, they're making the game harder. Basically, after hitting level 25, everything will just take exponentially more XP as you get closer to that level 50 level cap, which presumably they will move up in future DLC, giving you more room to grow and whatnot. I hate this, and I not only hate this, I hate this a lot. Uh, it's one thing to make it easier, but to make it harder, you know, especially in a game that has a player base that isn't sticking with it in the
Yeah,
first place.
it's a dying game. Like, why would
r-
you?
it's a game that's been dying for a while,
I mean, since like a
and
month after it came out.
right. It needs something. I think there is things that need to be done to this video game, but making it harder is not one of those things. This isn't a new game plus. This isn't a hard mode. They're just making the base game harder, and I think that sucks because one of my largest complaints with the base game was that it took too long to level up. In my opinion, especially after you got through that initial burst, I felt like I was playing a lot of the game, not really getting rewarded for it. I hate the loot system that's in there, and the cosmetic, system has is leaves everything to be desired, because you can't mix and match anything. Everything is preset. You know, premium pay store and all that aside, this game needed a lot more to it, aside from, hey, play more, dickhead. you know?
My big problem with this game is the grind was there, which is fine. That's kind of what these type of games go for, is the grind.
Yeah.
The problem I had is that all the missions felt the same. It felt like there were
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 different types of missions, and within those missions, it was like, oh, you're doing the same exact thing, but now you're in Europe or wherever. I don't even remember where the locations were,
Right.
but it just seemed like the same stuff, just over and over in different
Or it would
locations.
take the same level that you played before, and now you do it backwards.
Yeah,
You start
yeah.
at the end of the level and go the opposite direction. And in a game that has you replaying content, I don't want to see the same thing I've already seen for 30 fucking hours, man. Like, I think of Destiny and how that is. It obviously reuses a lot of the spaces in the game, but a lot of those are hubs. And then as more content's added, it's branched out from that hub with entirely new zones, new activities and things to do and whatnot. It's not all regurgitated content, and that's what I felt like Avengers was. So it's funny that this story broke because I just got a coupon from GameStop in my account. This is not sponsored, by the way. And it's for 20% off a pre-owned game. And I was thinking to myself, man, I should go pick up Avengers again and check out them DLC characters and how they are. And I'm not going to do that now. I have no interest in returning to this game. Any interest that I had, even them saying that I have to spend more time to unlock the cool shit, I'm not interested, man. I just
Honestly,
want to play superheroes, and I want to be fucking cool, man. I want to fly. I want to throw a hammer. I want to look at Black Widow's ass. I mean, I want to do anything other than just fucking grind the same damn level over and over again.
and the thing is, it's like, hey, we need you to go beat this boss, and then you're like, all right, cool, you go do it, and then the next mission's like, hey, we need you to go confront the Taskmaster, and then you go there, and it's like, wait, this is where I just killed that last boss.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so annoying. But I mean, honestly, my thought is give it 6 months. It'll be on either Xbox Game Pass, Games with Gold, PlayStation Plus. It's gonna be on one of
Or
those.
it'll just be the next Anthem.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
next Anthem. I think it for sure
You
will
know.
be free to play within
Well,
time.
only because Disney won't let them kill it.
Yep, exactly.
If anything, that's the only reason that this game will hang on, is because Disney says no. We fucking paid money for this.
We
we're gonna
we
get
refuse
something out of
defeat.
it.
We refuse defeat.
God.
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing else to say about this.
Me either.
Let's move on to some quick news. We were gonna watch this weird Master Chief video, but we'll just post it on our Twitter and let you enjoy that. So go follow
It's
us
a
on
good
Pixel
video.
Street at Pixel Street on Twitter to watch that. It's fucking weird.
It's worth watching. I promise you.
On to the quick news. Connor, the E3 live event is canceled.
What?
You believe that? Cancel your flights.
Oh my god. Are you serious? They cancel
your
E3?
flights. Yeah, cancel your hotel.
I gotta call somebody.
Yeah.
Of course it's canceled. Of fucking course it's canceled. I mean,
I can't believe this is even news. Like,
yeah, did you even have to say it?
Yeah, people were posting it on Twitter the other day, and you even sent us a link. I was like, didn't we know this? And it's like, no, we technically didn't. I don't know.
So they insist. This is what I've heard. They insist that they are doing some sort of live event this year.
Yep.
What I don't get is why the hell they didn't do that last year. You know,
I think it was just kind of
something else.
I think it was just kind of a short notice thing last year.
Does anybody care though? Like that. So that's what I'm struggling with. This is wild for me because I love E3. I think E3 should be a celebration of the industry and all of the people that make it up and all of the awesome games that are a part of it and that we love and so on and so forth. However, it's not, and it hasn't been for a long time. But I've always tuned in faithfully because I want to know what's happening in the industry. Over the past couple years prior to it being canceled and whatnot, I think that E3 was moving in a direction that it didn't understand. And now I can't get myself to care. Like, I don't even know that I would spend time watching an E3 event if there is an event. You know?
The thing is, I would watch it if all the major players were on board still.
Yes.
But that's the thing, is
will they?
PlayStation's not going to be like, all right, E3, we're going to pay you money to play our video. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, same with Microsoft. They're not going to do that. Microsoft, yeah, they'll pay. Microsoft wasn't even technically a part of E3, right?
They always did an adjacent event. Yeah. So, like, they were, I guess, still technically E3, but yeah, you know, and you think about Nintendo. Nintendo hasn't been at E3 aside from the show floor for God knows how long. They've been doing the Treehouse pre-recorded events.
Yeah.
You know?
So it doesn't make... I think this past year made a lot of companies realize, like, hey, we can take our own day of the year, no matter what day it is, make it ours by announcing two days a week before, hey, we're going to show you what we've been working on this date, you know, and then that way, you know, pretty much every other game dev is going to steer clear that day, right? And you're just going to take it, like, all the news for that day / week is going to be about you and your thing. Why crowd your, I don't know, product with a bunch of other products that people might find more interesting?
Competing products.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
not only that, I mean, you lose fluidity with the E3 format because you have to have something to show, you know, presumably over the last couple of years or whatever. Because like that's the event. Everybody's going to be at E3. You've got to be able to show your cool new thing there, and it's going to cause people to have to crunch, to get trailers and shit together. It's going to have to force you to show off something that maybe you weren't ready to show off quite yet, or shouldn't be ready to show off quite yet. And you know, the industry is slowly moving to a position where it understands that you can't show something way before it's ready. Like you have to be a lot more careful now. Everybody wants to they don't want to be the next Anthem. They don't want to be the next Cyberpunk. They don't want to be whatever that game is that announces itself way too early and then has to delay a bunch of times, has to, you know, go through all these revisions and changes and yada yada yada. And when you think about that, I don't think E3 makes sense, digital or not. I don't think it makes sense for these companies. So I don't think they would waste time being there, like you said, because they don't need it, you know?
Yeah.
Sony doesn't need it. They've got State of Play. Nintendo, God, Nintendo doesn't need it. All they
Nope.
do is say the word direct, and Nintendo fans are frothing at the mouth in their basements. And you know, it just E3 is unnecessary, and it's been unnecessary for a while. It pains me to say it because I love it for being a celebration of the industry, but God, does it need to be something else other than check out these cool video games that are coming up? Because holy shit, do we not need more of that? Uh,
And
you know,
now the fact that you got Jeff Keighley doing his own Summer Game Fest thing every year,
right?
like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like E3 is gonna be dead by
And the
next
internet
year.
exists. That right there is the thing. The internet just fucking exists. You can just put things on the internet and people will find them. People have followings on the internet already. I don't need E3 to connect me with a million people. I have a million people accessible at my fingertips at any given time, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how everything plays out, I guess, in the years to come.
Yeah.
Moving on, PS2 is now 21 years old.
Ooh, buy it a drink
What?
if you're in America.
There's a drink?
No, buy it a drink. It can drink now, Joel.
Oh,
It's 21 years old.
I was like, wait, they came out with like a drink because, like, relating to the 21st anniversary. I mean, I
Okay,
don't
I have a
know.
question. This is totally going to derail it, but we've got time. What is I think it's a MOA burger?
Oh, the Halo thing. I don't.
Yes.
I don't know. So, if you don't know, Halo launched these Pringles that
Mhm.
are. It has the Master Chief on the cover. They're Moa burger flavored, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Does
And then it's got a
is it?
picture of like a 4 patty burger.
Yeah, is it Moa or is it like MOA? Are they initials?
I was hoping that you would have the answer to this
Well,
because
here with the
I have
power
no
of the
clue.
internet, we can
Yeah, we
try
gotta
and
know.
figure it out. Let's see, Moa burger. Why is it taking me to Poland?
That was the first thing popped up. Polygon's got a story on it. I'm on
Yeah,
the
let's see.
Polygon story now.
New Halo potato chips taste like space ostrich. So Moa, I guess, is ostrich.
Oh.
Oh
Oh, I
my!
don't like that.
I don't like that at
That's
all. You mean like those
y-
ostriches from the beginning of Reach?
oh no.
Oh no. Microsoft has teamed up with chipmaker Pringles for a new flavor of potato chip, Moa Burger, as in the Moa, the flightless bird indigenous to the planet Reach, and also the name of an extinct species of bird here on Earth from Halo Reach.
I guess you
I
learn something new every day.
I want to say I never pictured those ostriches as being edible.
Okay, I'm gonna read you this. Don't look at it. Don't stop looking at it. I'm gonna read it to you. Okay, and I just want you to react
Okay.
to this paragraph in real
All right.
time. In the Halo fiction, Moa were a source of food on Reach and were served in wing, nugget, and burger form. Pringles' new Moa burger aims to approximate what a quadruple hamburger made of ground space bird plus cheese, pickles, lettuce, onions, and an unidentified sauce would taste like.
Hold on.
Does that sound appetizing to you?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't sound bad. But my question is, when I eat one chip, how am I getting the flavor of 4 patties in that one chip? You know what I mean? Why isn't it just one patty?
Ask Willy Wonka. He figured that shit out years ago. He's
I
probably
guess
got the
so.
patent on that, you know.
I guess so.
Yeah, this is. I think I need to buy a can of these.
Oh, 100%. Also worth noting, you can only buy them at Walmart or eBay.
Oh,
I'm
I have to
sure.
go into a Walmart for this.
Dude, I know. And the thing is, there's like no Walmarts in the city here. It's like a hassle to get to a Walmart, but
I've got a Walmart real close to me, but I don't want to go to it. it's.
I mean, you're gonna
it's
have
not
to
a great. Damn it! I'll do it for you, Chief. I'll do it for you.
do it for the chief, man.
Do I
But
wait?
yeah, MOAs, man.
Do I have to like Fortnite dance? Is that? Are people doing that inside of Halo now? Is
In Halo?
Fortnite dancing? Yeah.
I don't think you
Is
can
that-
dance in Halo. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Master Chief's in Fortnite. You can,
Oh, yeah, that's right. I
and
guess.
that's,
I don't know. Moving on.
Yeah.
Epic's Games, Epic Games buys Mediatonic, which is the company that made Fall Guys. I did not know this.
Yeah. They announced the purchase not long ago, just a few days ago, and
It's a smart buy, honestly.
yeah. Yes, that is what I would say about this. Fall Guys is kind of the breakout hit of last year, and it's kind of odd to me that Epic ended up purchasing them because Sony threw them all that money for the marketing deal with Fall Guys to be on PlayStation Plus. So kind of a weird scenario there, but this is what Epic is doing now. Like it is increasingly telling that the industry is turning to IP and talent for value, and Epic sought to make that money, and Fall Guys was big. Those guys seem cool, I guess.
I mean, good on them for buying them. Like, is this like the first big game they've made?
I think so. I don't
I mean,
think
like,
they've done. I'll tell you.
either way, like, I feel like it's a good purchase just because of how young the company is. Like, if this is their first game, I doubt it's their first game, but it's their first like big game.
They also have a game out called Murder by Numbers. It is on the Switch and it's on Steam. God, why can't you just have a handy like portfolio button? There it is. Yeah, those are it.
I mean,
Oh,
good for
there are
them.
classics. Yeah, the rest of these look like mobile games. Oh, that's a mobile game called Disney Suburbia.
Never heard of that. Never.
Hell yeah. Oh,
Not
hey,
even
they worked
once.
on Gears Pop.
Oh, that's right, Gears Pop,
That's cool.
which is dying, I think, next month. R.I.P. In peace.
No, not Marcus Phoenix 2, first Mario, and now my Gears.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on and talk about what we've been playing for a bit.
Yeah.
I'll start. I started playing some Titanfall 2 the other day.
Hey, it's good.
Yeah, it is good. So I played a lot of Titanfall 1 when it came out.
Yeah.
But I
as
bought
you
that
should've.
game. I think I picked it up at midnight at GameStop in college. And I played the living shit. I even had the controller. There was a limited edition Xbox One controller, which was real cool. I had to trade
I had
it
the
in because
headset.
that headset was cool too. I had to trade the controller in because the A button was sticky, and it was like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep it if it's not functional.
That controller
Which-
was sweet though.
Looking back, I should have just kept the controller because it was cool. But I played so much of that, and I never picked up 2 when it came out, probably because I was broke at the time. I don't know, fresh out of college. Broke Joel.
That
at the
game's
time.
been $10 for like 3 years now.
It's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass now?
It is. So that's why I downloaded it. Because it's on Game Pass and I never played, well, I think when it first came to Game Pass months ago, I played it, some of the multiplayer, which the multiplayer is like just the same multiplayer from Titanfall 1 and it's fucking amazing.
Kind of, sort of. There are some changes, but it's
same,
pretty close.
Same idea.
It's really good though. Yeah, that multiplayer is hot.
I forgot how much I loved when you call in your Titan, she's like preparing for Titanfall. Like it feels so good. It feels so good. But yeah, that multiplayer is great. I have not played the single player yet, even though I know everybody says it's like one of the best first person shooter single player campaigns ever.
Yeah, I
So
would.
I gotta get into that.
I would 100% echo that sentiment. I love my FPS games, and yeah, man, Titanfall 2 is a game that should have got 100,000 times the amount of recognition that it got. Titanfall 1, like you said, fantastic multiplayer, obviously pretty lackluster in the story department, but the second game really nails down that feel.
I think Titanfall 1, it was kind of more of an experiment in terms of the story, right? Because it was like, yeah, if you play the quote-unquote campaign, it's really just a multiplayer match that there's 2 sides of.
Yep.
which I mean was interesting at the time, but I mean seeing all the reviews from Titanfall 2 story, it's like, man, kind of a bummer that they didn't do something for Titanfall 1. But either way,
Mm.
I'm playing Titanfall 2 every once in a while now, and I'm liking it a lot. And you can. I played way more Apex Legends, I think, than I played of Titanfall 2 as a whole. And you
Mm.
could definitely feel Apex Legends in Titanfall. It's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it definitely has that respawn feel that they've so carefully crafted. Ever since Titanfall 1. It's just it's buttery smooth, man. Everything you do in that game is just pure butter, and I love it. The guns feel great. They sound great. There's a lot of awesome variety in there. Wall running is just wow. And what I would tell you if you want to really fall in love with Titanfall 2, um, go check out some like high level gameplay of people playing Titanfall 2 because the stuff that people pull off in that game is absurd.
I love I love the grappling hook. That's like the coolest
Yes.
mechanic of that game to me.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of fun, a lot of fun. What have you been playing?
So I've only got one game on my list. I have been relatively busy otherwise, and uh, this is also the only game that I can think about right now in any way, shape, or form. So, if you are unfamiliar, there is a series of video games called Guilty Gear. They are fighting games. They've been going on for quite some time, and the latest iteration, Guilty Gear Strive, was originally due out October of last year, got delayed to April of this year, and then unfortunately just got recently delayed again, which is a huge bummer. But they had a beta uh, recently, and I sunk an unbelievable amount of time into that beta with a couple of my buddies, and I think that this this is absurd to say about a beta, but I think this is going to be one of the greatest fighting games of all time. I am so incredibly jazzed about it. If you're a
What about
longtime Guilty
Smash?
Gear fan,
What about Smash?
don't talk to me about Smash
What
right now,
about
okay?
Smash? John,
Uh,
are you still in the chat? Help me.
Listen, I here's what I'll tell you about Smash. It's not a real fighting game, okay?
Oh,
It's
bullshit.
not
Get
competitive.
out of
It
here.
is
It's
not.
not
I
competitive? Come
Nope,
on.
I don't like it. That's right. You can be really good at
You
Smash,
know,
and you can do
you
some
know
real
the fact
cool
that we're streaming
stuff
this
in
live,
Smash.
I have the capability to mute you now on the
That's
go.
that's absolutely. I think Smash is great. Don't get me wrong. I love my Smash, but yeah, Smash is for children. Um,
Like me because I don't like actual fighting games.
you know, I used to kind of feel the same way.
Yeah,
And I,
and then you spent $200 on a fighting stick.
okay, I didn't spend anywhere near that. Actually, it's a custom build, so I did most of it myself. Um,
I mean, I don't know if that's helping your case, but go ahead.
going back to Guilty Gear Strive, yeah, this game is absurd, and it's not just for the quality of the game. The big thing with fighting games is the multiplayer. In fighting games, connection is everything. Obviously, it's very important in any online game that you play, but a single frame can change the entire tide of a fighting game because everything is so uh, stacked on top of each other in terms of when it's happening. You have a lot of things all coming down to the wire, and really like there's math going on behind the scenes, and if you don't have a good connection or a good server setup, you can have a miserable experience, and that's what puts a lot of people off of fighting games, which is very unfortunate. Um, Traditionally, fighting games have delay-based netcode, so when somebody's connection starts slowing down, it slows down the other person's connection. So the game like go feels like it's underwater and both people are moving really slow, and then as the connection comes back, it resumes back to full speed. There is another connection option, typically called rollback, and what rollback is it's using both predictions and pulling data from both streams simultaneously to make decisions on what it's supposed to do. And if something happens that wasn't supposed to happen. Essentially, it's using an algorithm to predict what you were going to do and the other player. So if there's a connection drop, it goes off of what was predicted to actually happen in the game. And then if the prediction was wrong or something happens that didn't happen on the other player's poor connection on either end, it'll roll back frames to the last synchronized point in the match. And it sounds ridiculous. It doesn't sound that exciting. But man, it is one of the most incredible online experiences I have ever had, save for fighting games alone. I mean, in the fighting world, it's unheard of to be this good. But just video games in general, I couldn't believe how good this game felt uh, every time I booted up and played it. I never lagged once. I was playing people across the world, across the continent, and I never had a single issue with a connection, which was super cool. On top of that, it's just a badass fighting game, man. The creator is a massive fan of metal music, and so all of the stuff in the game, or at least a good chunk of it, is kind of based around the fact that he's just a heavy metal nerd. So different fighters kind of represent different types of metal and whatnot, and have different moves that are named on different old school metal songs and whatnot. But he also writes these incredible banging soundtracks for every single character in the game too. And if anything, I just implore you to go check out some of that soundtrack because it's incredible. The lead single from the game is called "Smell of the Game." Please, Joel, if you could tell me, what does the game smell like?
Metal?
You know, I don't know, but he fucking sings about it, and you can go listen to that shit, and it's real good. Uh, yeah, it. Guilty Gear is a very unique experience. It's definitely something that for a long time has been a little bit more of an underground kind of I guess circle or click niche, whatever you want to call it. And I really think that Guilty Gear Strive is going to kind of launch it in a big way. We've seen a lot of fighters recently kind of take mainstream by storm in a way that fighters traditionally haven't in a long time. Mortal Kombat 11 was huge. Tekken 7 did gangbusters. Dragon Ball Fighters or Fighter Z, whatever you want to call it. I don't ever want to think about that ever again. But that game alone, like, really kind of put modern fighting games on the map in a way that they haven't been in quite some time. So obviously Street Fighter 5 is a pretty large game too. So yeah, Guilty Gear Strive. If you know, you know. I'm a Faust guy. Um,
No idea what
it's
that means.
just so he is like a 9 foot tall zombie doctor that wears a paper bag on his head and can throw random items like mini Faust that stabs the opponent or bananas that you can eat and heal with. He also, his grab in Strive allows you to eat somebody and then pull them out of an interdimensional hole in the sky. Um, yeah, Guilty Gear's some shit, man. You ever want to have a good time? Just start looking into that stuff because it is a trip, but it is full worth it. And you know, if you are interested in fighting games, if that is something that you've always kind of thought about, I think this game is going to be a great jumping on point for you know, the entire industry really, and it really feels like a modern fighting game, or at least the first modern fighting game in a way that other games haven't in a long time. So um, yeah, cool stuff. You know, cool video games. I like to punch people, and in Guilty Gear, you can do that a lot. So that's, you know, that's what I've been playing. Nothing else, honestly.
Have you been playing that with your fight stick?
I was when the beta was live. Yeah, which holy shit. Okay, allow me to bitch and complain for a second here. Do you have any idea how hard it was to get my fight stick to work on a PS5? Because the only place you could play this beta was a PS4 or a PS5. So the PS5 only has native fight stick support for officially licensed um, peripherals. So if they have like through Hori or whatever, there's officially licensed fight sticks. Those work, but nothing else does. I have a universal fight stick. It's a Mayflash F500, and it's supposed to work on anything. Plugged into my PS5, wouldn't work. I couldn't get it to do anything. My solution for getting this thing to work on the PS5 was I had to download the PS4 version of Guilty Gear Strive's beta, get a PS4 controller, and then wire a PS4 controller into my fight stick, which was then wired into my PS5, playing the PS4 version of Guilty Gear, and that was the only way it would work. I couldn't do it with the DualSense. I couldn't use my PS5 controller. I had to get a PS4 controller, which I don't own a PS4 controller, so I had to bum one off a buddy in the meantime. Stupid, absolutely stupid.
Yeah, that's real dumb.
It's more Sony being weirdo Sony, but yeah, it's. I played with my fight stick and slapped a lot of buttons, which feels really nice. So,
moving on, the only other game I've played in. Sorry, I'm reading a text, and I'll just touch on it very shortly. Is Destiny 2? Have you played at all this new season, Connor?
So I did, yeah. I played up into the week that the new scout rifle, the exotic scout rifle, dropped, and I got that. But aside from that, I haven't touched recently. So
I love the new like seasonal weekly challenge system. I feel like
me too.
I feel like I'm going through my season pass much quicker than any other season. At first, I didn't think it was going to be that way. I thought it was going to be slower. But it seems like all these weekly challenges are very obtainable if you play, 3-4 days a week, 3-4 nights a week, just for a few hours. And I've gotten every single one done so far. I'm still working on this week's, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air in terms of those weeklies, just because like half the time I didn't know, like, all right, whose weeklies did I pick up, did I not pick up, and stuff like that. And now you can
it also limits the amount of times that I have to drop down to the tower for something.
Exactly.
Which with the newer load times being so significantly improved, it's less of a hassle than it used to be. But I totally agree, man. They are on to some really cool shit with this season.
The other thing I love is those weeklies are for all three characters combined. So if I'm playing on my Titan and I get halfway through one of the weeklies and I switch over to my Warlock, it just picks up at the same point. It's not like each character now has its own weeklies like it used to be. It's all just per account, not per character, which is really nice. But yeah, I don't know. I've been loving this new season. I'm already at like season level 75 or something like that. Wow. Which last season I was at season level 70 a week before it ended, and I had to grind 30 levels in 1 week, and it was fucking miserable. But
I think the other great thing about this season, though, is really all of the content that they've added is fantastic. Battlegrounds. I love the Battlegrounds activity. I think it's very cool. Very interesting take. Just having a lot more enemies at once feels really cool. Like, that's what I want. I don't want harder enemies necessarily. I want to just mow down a ton of enemies with my abilities and whatnot. Have you done the mission for the scout rifle?
Yeah, I did it 1.5 times, I think.
Okay.
I had to do it another half time to finish one of the weeklies, but
that mission's sweet.
It's pretty cool, yeah. It's very eerie. It's like spooky.
Yes.
It's cool.
Investigating like a derelict freighter that's just hanging out in deep space, and yeah, man, super cool.
Yeah, it's cool. The only other thing I want to bring up is apparently there's a glitch in the game right now that has not been patched out yet, where you can have 12 people in one raid, which sounds fucking chaotic and awesome.
From what I've heard, you can do it in any activity. So you can also any matchmade activity, you can pull this off. as long as there's like more than one fire team member allowed. So you can't do it in like Rumble or something. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, you can like 12-man nightfalls and stuff as well.
Man, I should be doing that, man.
Right?
I
Yeah, I
should
want
be.
to get in on one of those 12-man raids.
I do too. I don't know. Maybe I'll look online and see if anybody's organizing one that I can just like even if it's with randoms like you should
Yeah,
easily be
you
able to
know.
finish a 12-man raid.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing is like you only need really 5 people pulling their weight.
Yeah, exactly.
Out of the 11 other people you have with you. So,
Yeah,
um,
there should be virtually
man,
no ads on the field at all.
could you imagine how quick you could kill a boss with 12 people?
That's what I'm saying, man. If people are probably running fucking what's the weapon? What's the weapon you get from Garden of Salvation? I have Divinity. People are probably
Divinity.
making Divinity runs like crazy this week
Oh yeah.
because of how quickly they can probably get through it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Could you imagine 12 laments?
dude, no. I
That's a dirty thought. Is what that is.
imagine all 12 people using stasis abilities all at one time.
Oh man, you probably just break the
Break,
connection.
yeah, break somebody's Xbox. But anyway, with that, we are going to end episode 134 of the Pixel Street podcast. As always, you can find us on YouTube by searching for Pixel Street videos, Twitter by searching for Pixel Street there, and you can join our Discord by looking at our pinned tweet. We have a invite link there where you can join our Discord and join in on some Pal Party nights, give us suggestions. You can post topics there. Um, yeah. We are live on Friday mornings on your podcast platform of choice. And we're going to try streaming it live again. We'll see how this turned out. We're streaming right now on YouTube and my Twitch channel. You can find me on Twitter at Campo63 or twitch.tv/Campo63. Connor, where are you at on the internet?
Yeah, so you can find me on the internet at The Real Birch. That's Birch like the tree without the I, both on Twitter and Twitch. I would love to have you. Come follow me, hang out, share your opinions and your feedback. If this live show is a cool thing and is something you want to be a part of more often, then let us know. We would love to hear it. So, yeah, stay cool.
With that, we are going to send you off on this really weird Master Chief video.
Oh, perfect.
This is Connor's new favorite video.
It is.
That's loud.
To launch the best game ever in the history of humankind. Halo 4, starring the one and only myself. So don't waste your time on girly games and do the right thing.
So weird.